certain lyrics and paraphrases driving me. All that there's no denying. But do you even know what you're singing? The perilous of its words and disgracing their meaning. Oh, how welcome to the one-man show. And tell me, why won't you listen? It's a word that inspires me. And why won't you listen to me? Well, you know what you've done. You've become an icon. Well, you've embellished your ways and abused them for all. So tell me, how does it feel beating around the bush? And that, my friend, is a double meaning. And you think it what makes you so stubborn? Welcome to the one-man show. What makes you so stubborn? Welcome to the one-man show. And tell me why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Why won't you listen to me?
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV. Did you miss me? It's been a while, isn't it? Well, only a few days, to be fair. Yes, so here we are. We are back with GR3 round number 9, I think. This is number 8 up there, but I'm sure it's round number 9. Here from the Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Slight change to the originally advertised as far as race course, we took out Autopolis and put this in. We did that a few weeks ago, to be fair. But there we go. It says round 8, but I think it's actually round 9. But, you know, it is what it is. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And we're in that kind of lull now in between Christmas and New Year, where not a lot really goes on. So let's do some racing. We did some awesome racing last night. Really cool little sprint contest. I will be editing and uploading the highlights reel from that tomorrow, and I'll put that up for your viewing pleasure. There'll also be another new segment starting on Black Flag TV tomorrow, which I won't tell you about now, but you will see it when it goes live tomorrow. It's going to be a really little cool, once or twice a week kind of scenario, shall we say. Okay, so originally we did think we were going to have a full lobby tonight, but people dropped out, etc. But big runners and riders, that's the ones we want to look at. So let's have a quick look at the standings. We're only going to look at the top 15. I don't think we need to look at the top 10, sorry. We don't need to look at everyone else because no one else is really in the running as it stands. So Kevin77 is looking to close out the championship today. Win today will guarantee that he wins the championship. PM10 Racing, he is currently sitting in second place, 146 points for him. Avalon, though, 140 points for him, just behind, literally just behind. So anything can happen. Star Group also still in the mix there for that top 3, 134 points. Also Stormfly, 128 despite his penalties. 128 points for him, and he's in that top 5. GMAC not racing this evening. So I think any chance of a top 5 will disappear today for him. As we know, Chris Yelasos just can't be with us because of his mangly leg. So he won't be racing either. But there we go. Good evening, Nick. How you doing, buddy? So yes, it's all about Road Atlanta today in the GR3 cars. Let's have a quick look at who we've got in the room this evening. Qualifying will be starting pretty soon. So, of course, we've got Stormfly in the Porsche. As we know, he switched cars out earlier in the season, used his token, but did it all wrong and basically got a penalty for it. So he's stuck with the Porsche for the rest of the season. Demos is running today. He's in the beta, I think Demos runs in, which is mental. There's Wiggy. Sturpan's in the room. Avalon, he may or may not be able to hang on for the whole race. Hopefully he can, because he's in that championship mix and certainly in the mix for top 3 spot. PM10 Racing, of course, definitely in a spot for top 3. And qualifying is about to begin, so we can jump in the room in a minute. Panos is with us, Kevin, of course. Thanos, Cool Runnings, and welcome to Black Flag Racing. Cal won his first race with us this evening. It was a bit touch and go in getting into the room, but he did make it. So welcome to your first race with us. Let's hope it's a good one. We'll see how you get on. So let's have a little looky-see at everybody. So there's Kevin. He's obviously in that C7. Cool Runnings in the Porsche, and I apologise, Adrian, I didn't make the modifications to delivery on that car. I just haven't had time yet. I will. I promise I'll do it tomorrow. I'll update the wheels on that for you on that 911. Avalon's also in, of course, he's been loving it. He's gone for the Martini Racing livery, really liking that. Very subtle Black Flag thingy there, which is cool. J49 Racing with us, and look at that livery. Beautiful livery. I wonder who got that from. That might actually be, might be. Loving it though. It's going to be tight. I think you're right. It's going to be tight. It's a tricky racetrack with 14, 15 cars now, and certainly going to be a little bit of carnage. We saw when with the All-Star race for GT Champions that they had a full lobby of 15, and it was the first few laps are absolute pandemonium. But it should be much better. Let's get rid of that so we can see what's occurring for everybody. So here we go. So there we go. J49 in the Porsche 911 for this event. He's got to practice the Porsche because we've got the Porsche Cup coming up very, very soon. There's Thanos. He is also in that Corvette. Good car, that. Stormfly in the Porsche, of course, which he's now restricted to. Can't change his car because he made a cock up with car change. Cal 1 joins us for his first race. Welcome to the party, pal. As the immortal Bruce Willis would say, he has gone for the GR Super. Quite nimble car, and I think, to be fair, might actually not be a bad choice for this particular racetrack. You've got to imagine that those from the United States are more favoured here, surely. Surely you've got to be favoured here just purely because you know the racetrack better, right? Who knows? Who knows? There is Patrick Avalon. He is currently second in the championship, or third in the championship, sorry. But looking to make a move. Third. He's third in the championship. There he is. Only 6 points behind PM10. So his job today, look, it's going to be a difficult thing to beat Kevin from this stage. Really think. As he puts in a 2:17.0. Good solid first lap for Kevin now. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to beat Kevin today. So I think the job has got to be for Avalon is to beat PM10. Yeah, I just took it off, mate. Just took it off. A bit rusty, mate. I haven't done it for a couple of days. Yeah, so in order for Avalon to sort of nick second place in the championship, his primary role has got to be to beat PM10. There is PM10 there. And they're both in the 911, so it is all about yeah, it's all about beating them, really. But we know PM10 can be pretty racy. We'll see how they get on. It's going to be an interesting one. I can tell you that for nothing. We've had some good resurgence from the Greek guys who joined pretty late into this season 1 of GR3. A lot of lag there from Thanos. An awful lot of lag from Thanos. Yeah, they joined us pretty late into the season. So not going to set the world on fire or jump into the top 3 or 4, but this certainly gives us preparation ready for season 2. And season 2 will be starting. When will it be starting? I hear you cry. Hang on, I'll tell you. So season 2 of the Open GR3 will start at Fuji on the 18th of January for season 2. We've still got a race to go here in this one before we move on. We are planning on 2 lobbies for season 2, and they will be organised by a couple of qualification events. So essentially what we'll do is we'll run a couple of really short, probably 10-15 minute races on everyone in the same car, everyone on the same track, and the tires will be put in a hat, and you will be allocated based on epilepsy. And you'll be placed in your group based on your average lap time or your total race time. We'll see it. We'll work out a way of doing it so that it's fair and even for everybody. Right, let's have a look at times. So Kevin's done a 1:17.0. That was his first hot lap. Didn't do too well in the second one, but he's coming into the pits now, making a little change here. PM10 Racing puts himself on the front row alongside Kevin. And remember early on in this tournament when he, I think, probably threw away his chance of the championship when he put on intermediate tyres, which for anyone that's going to be joining us for the end of year awards, which is, I think, now moving to the 1st of Jan. I don't know yet. It's either the 5th. I will announce later. It's probably going to move to the 1st of Jan, just because of availability and shizzle. But he is an absolute shoo-in for fuck up of the year. With cost himself this championship by putting on intermediates when chasing down a lead. But there we go. Shit happens. Row 2, Stormfly heads it up. He's in the Porsche 911. It is a bit of the Porsche show, isn't it? It's the Porsche show with a Corvette teaching him how to do it. So Stormfly in on row 2. He is his best time. He's no longer up there, but what is only 2/10 off PM10 Racing's time, who himself is only a 10th off Kevin's. Star Group Wiggy. And I want to change that actually because I prefer the nicknames. there we go. Then I have to remember that DLE is Demos. So Wiggy, there he is. He is in the Nissan GTR. His 0.666 was 0.66 slower. Not anymore. The number of he sold to the beast. 117.3 for him, puts him firmly ahead of Stormflight on Road 2. Stormflight drops down to 4th place. Sturpan with a 117.7 in the BWT Pink Panther livery. 117.7 for him, which puts him on row 3. As Stormfly puts himself onto the front row and pushes PM10 Racing onto row 2. Cool Runnings is just 600ths of a second slower than Sturpan in the 911. 117.8 for him, currently firmly on row 3. Avalon Shadow row 4 at the moment with Demos joining him. Thanos and Panos, no relation. Row 5, Old Man J and Cal 1 are on the back row, and similar times from those two. So Jay has someone to race with. We were expecting a couple of other races this evening, but we've kind of lost some people. So we'll just have a quick look. I know Canados couldn't make it. He pulled out. We know Nick was tired, couldn't make it. He's joining us on the stream though, just to say hi. So everyone wave at Nick. Who else did we lose that we were expecting? Timorous couldn't make it. Stonecutter had to go parenting, and of course I am unable to race because I'm just unable to race. It's got nothing to do with not being able to do it. Yep, it will stay there for the whole time. It's there because I basically use that to cover over all the information. It's twofold really. I will talk about it during the race, but it's there also so that if I don't talk about it, it's because of certain strategies and stuff like that. And you don't want to really give too much away to other people. But yeah, so the answer to your question is yes, I will be covering over all the information at the bottom. It's not information that you would normally have available to you on pretty much any other racing game in a spectator mode, which is why I'm taking it off and putting our banner there. We may revisit that at some stage, but it seems to me to be the best place for it to not obscure anything else. So there we go, so 12 runners this evening instead of the expected 15. Of course, if we are going to get 16 signed up and then end up with 12, we won't run 2 lobbies next season. We'll see how it goes. But loads of really cool stuff coming up, so we've got a little while left of qualifying. Let's just go over some of the stuff that is happening on Black Flag in the new year, because there is absolutely shed loads. So everything now is running through our partners, Sim League Pro. You can find them at simleaguepro.com. And they join our sponsorship team alongside Club Leaf and our principal sponsor, of course, Jogham's Machinery. But yeah, Sim League Pro is where you will find all the Black Flag races. We have got Friday evenings coming up. We'll have the Eurotrips and Black Flag F1 tournament. You can find more information if you go on a Discord. We'll point you in the right direction for that, because that's being administered by the guys at Eurotrip. We've got lots and lots of Formula 1 experience. We've got obviously a continuation of the GR4 lottery, and then that will move into season 3 when we eventually get there. We've got that's season 2 of the Open GR3 starting in January. We've got the Staying Power Endurance Championship. At the moment, there's no dates on there or tracks, but they will be updated in the next couple of days. That is starting as well. We've got the End of Year Awards, which is coming up. It's going to be in a couple of days' time. We've got a really cool new thing called Black Flag Rivals, and it is essentially a 2-car tournament, and it's a twofold kind of thing. So this time round, season 1 will be the Evo versus the Lancer Evo versus the Super Impreza. So basically, it's a battle of absolute like-minded cars. That's the best way to describe it. The cars are allocated as random, so there'll be seven Evos, 7 Scoobies handed out, and they will race for the season in that car, and it will be an individual tournament, but also a team-based tournament. Now that's unusual in the fact there will be 14 runners rather than 15 because it's 7 versus 7, of course. But you can find out more details about that if you look on SimLeague Pro. There's details there. But we'll do a big reveal video coming up shortly. As Kevin puts in a 1:16.7 to really secure that front row there. We've got the combination as well of the Race Mind 3-hour endurance. We've got 2 of those left. Before we move into the staying power endurance, of course, we've got a handicap series which will be updated on SimLeague Pro later on today. That's coming up. That will be essentially the better you perform, the heavier your car will get. So every time you win a race, you'll add 30 kilos to your car, which will stay on your car for the duration, and that will continue on and on and on until the end when you can potentially have an incredibly heavy car. I mean, if you continue winning with the car that heavy, then good on you, but we will see. It should be a disadvantage. We will at some stage try to squeeze in another of the sprint events like we did yesterday. When you see the video for that, just how much fun that was, you can see why we definitely want to put that in again. But the big one, which we haven't announced too much about, is GT Alphas. It's going to be a team-based, bi-monthly feature race over 6 rounds, essentially for the year. We have a new sponsor coming on board for that, who will be announced when the full announcement of GT Alphas comes out. We'll let you know on that. That will be a team-based event, similar to that of GT Fusion-ish, with sort of individual titles and team titles available in that. But it will be a series of one-off races. There'll be an overall league table, of course, but the races will be very specific one-off with specific cars, specific tracks, or maybe a choice of cars on specific tracks. The finer details will be revealed soon. So that's all the stuff that's coming up for Black Flag, certainly in the first part of the year. There'll be more happening later, of course. So here we go. So Kevin has done a 1:16.7. That puts him on pole position, almost half a second up from Stormfly, who, but for his penalties this season, would probably be pushing Kevin right to the wire. 1:17.1 for him, but he hasn't been able to improve on that since lap 2. Demos puts himself on the second row, just ahead of PM10 Racing. His primary goal today is to stay ahead of Avalon. Assuming Avalon's still going, Avalon is still here. Especially if he wants to secure second in the championship. Wiggy is just outside his time. He is on row 3, ahead of Panos, as PM10 puts himself on the front row alongside his title partner. Now, the gap is a little bit too big, I think, for PM10 to usurp. Let's put PM10 up. And actually, we got to. I didn't have time to do the track guide for this, but he did the track guide. Thank you very much, and he's on resident stick. But you can find the track guide on the YouTube channel. Maybe I'll post a link up to it up here or somewhere for you to look at later on. So quick look at the standings there. So there's a difference. 40 points of the difference. 25 points available to the drivers. So really, it would require Kevin to rage quit and not turn up to the next race for PM10 to be able to steal that top spot. And of course he himself would have to finish certainly first in one of the 2 races. His biggest challenge at the moment is that battle with Avalon. Avalon sitting in 3rd, Wiggy sitting in 4th as well. He's potentially going to be fly in that ointment, as my friend John McLean would say. And this time of year we should think back to that awful terrorist attack on the Nakatomi Tower that Christmas Eve 20 odd years ago. Anyway, so there we go. 15 minutes is completed. We're pretty much there or thereabouts at the end of qualifying now. So 1:16.7 for Kevin, front row, joined by PM10 Racing, 1:16.9. Both go sub 1:17. Good, solid lap times they are. We thought it was going to be 16s. I think 15s is a big ask around here. It's a tricky circuit. this Roadrunner. I'm not entirely sure I like it. I risk controversial gasps of, but I'm not sure I like it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Stormfly Road 2 with Demos. Literally 4,000 of a second difference between those two. Wiggy on Road 3, he's got Panos for company. And his compatriot and fellow HKRT member Sturpan. Named as such because he has a wooden spoon. He is with Cool Runnings on the grid. So there we go. Qualifying is done. Kevin from PM10, Stormflight from Demos, Wiggy, Panos, Sturpan, Cool Runnings, Avalon Shadow. Really poor qualifying from him actually. In 9th place, he's got some serious work to do if he wants to maintain a top 3 spot here. Thanos in 10th, Old Man J in 11th, and the new boy Cal 1 is in 12th place. 1 minute till we start, says the host. We've got a new host this evening, actually. Kevin is hosting this evening just because Avalon might have to disappear during the race for personal issues. If that's the case, it made sense that he wasn't hosting because for some weird reason they decided not to have host migration. That might be because when they originally planned the game, it was planned to be a PS5 game. And they had to make it backwards compatible because they love money. Predominantly, of course. So, 60 minutes we've got here, round Road Atlanta. Tyres are going to be a factor. It can be quite abrasive, this track. So it's all about looking after your tyres, looking after your fuel a little bit. We know that Kevin is a bit of a fuel-safe master, as is Avalon. That's Avalon's default setting, is saving fuel. We know Stormfly's not too shabby at it either. So the question here really is, how do we think the Beetle was going to perform? Because I thought picking that Beetle was a crazy decision for him, but the performance Demons we get out of that Beetle has been nothing short of brilliant, to be fair. So I'm losing my voice. I'm a little bit of overindulgence over the Christmas period. So here we go. Road Atlanta it is. I'm going to have to jump out and back in again. I don't know why I'm doing this. So waiting for the lights to come on and send us away. There's light 1, 2, 3, 4 and light number 5. And we jump out of the room very quickly. They look to be away pretty good. They are indeed away well. I hate having to do this every time. So Kevin does lead them out. Stormfly in second. PM10 Racing is down in 3rd place with Demos just behind him as they come around here. Let's do a little on board actually on that one. Yeah, let Mayhem begin indeed. This area Stormfly tucked in behind Kevin. Picks up a 1 second penalty. It's so easy to do here. The track limits here are very, very unforgiving. No problem, Canados. Thank you for jumping in and saying hello anyway. If you're sick, you're sick, man. You can't be expected to be racing when you're sick. But that's why we have the missed race tokens. So we'll play your missed race tokens. So you'll still get 10 points even though you can turn up. But thanks for joining us anyway. But this is on board with Stormfly chasing down Kevin 77. We're just talking. I mean, he's just had to serve that penalty. But the track limits here are brutal. It seems to me, and as we see PM10 goes through, and Demos, who's up into 2nd place, also through on PM10. Let's have a look at the back. What is going on at the back of the pack? Well, there's Cool Runnings at the back. He's way back. He's 8.3 seconds back. So he's clearly had a problem somewhere. And there's Cal 1. He's up behind Panos in a minute. Old Man Jay side by side with Panos, cutting that grass. Does he get back on the track? He does get back on safely. Very lucky not to spin there because it can be incredibly unforgiving, that grass there. So Cal 1 tucked in behind Old Man Jay in the Supra in his first race for Black Flag. Whoever crashed into whoever, Mr. Cool Runnings has been the one that's lost out because there he is running in last place. And he is usually a shoo-in for the centre of the pack. He is kind of the mid. Mr. Cool Runnings is the guy that will always finish in the midfield and will usually capitalise if one of the really quick guys cocks up. He's the one that benefits from it. No, it was a good save from Jay, but to be fair, he kept his foot in, and I think that was brave, very brave to keep his foot in there. That grass can be incredibly unforgiving. So there he is running in 10th place. He is 1.6 already behind Panos, who's trying to stick with Thanos just ahead of him. Not to be confused with the Thanos of Marvel Universe fame. He is not just trying to destroy half of the population of the universe. Running in 8th place at the moment, just 7/10 behind Avalon. Avalon's job is to stay ahead of Wiggy and try and catch PM10 Racing. So Avalon Shadow running in 7th place with Wiggy just half a second up the road in the GTR. And I apologise for the choppiness. There was a little bit of lag coming through the server, but I think my computer's on its way out and I need to solve that problem. I have things have been arranged for replacement, but we'll see how quick you can get done. I'm trying to get done for the new year if possible. So Wiggy is 2.2 seconds already behind PM10, who's dropped already out of that top 4. Now, he is on the medium compound tyre, and we'll have a look, actually, we'll run through the order. So, Kevin out in the lead has started on the medium. They've got to use 2 compound tyres, you've got to use mediums, and they have to use soft, so 2 compound tyres must be used. But there is Kevin in the lead, already 2.7 seconds clear. Here at Road Atlanta on a 1:18.4, which on mediums, early race pace, that is a phenomenal lap time from the Greek god of driving, Mr. Kevin 77 himself. Stormfly running in 2nd place in the Porsche 911, 1.5 seconds already up from Demos. He's done a 1:18.3, so even quicker fastest lap from him. And he is now 3.1 seconds up. Yeah, there is some good camera angles. We've had some good camera angles. PM10 Racing back up into 3rd place. So whatever issue there was is now gone. I think it was the penalty that Demos had, which has dropped him down to 6th place. Sturpan, there he is running in 4th. He's got Wiggy tucked right up behind him. And that's a battle that we're looking forward to seeing. Is Wiggy able to make a move here on Sturpan? As it just closes up, and the gap is under 3/10 as they come into this. I don't know the racetrack well enough to know what to call it, but we'll do a full on board for a full lap around Road Atlanta. If you want to know more about Road Atlanta, the best thing to do is check out PM10's track guide, which you will find on our YouTube page under the aptly named track guides tab. So into this chicane here. Now, and this is a feature of US tracks over anywhere else in the world. There is actually 13 corners here, but if you look at the official records, they claim there's only 11 because they have turns 10A and 10B and things like that. And it's not the only racetrack in the Americas that do that. Daytona has the same thing. There's another one as well which does it, and it's just, and Laguna Seca does it as well. Stop it! It's either it's either one turn, in that case it doesn't need an A or B, or it's 2 turns and they need completely different numbers like A and B. You're not. It doesn't make you special. It doesn't make you clever. It just makes you look weird. Just count them properly, please. Thank you very much. That's my rant over. It's Christmas, we shouldn't be moaning. Kevin 77 in the lead still, of course. Let's go from the back and run forward. Cal 1 is already had Cool Runnings make a place up on him. He's running in 12th place, 2.3 seconds off the pace of Mr. Cool Runnings in that beautiful Megan Fox Porsche 911. Miss you, Megan, I miss you. That was one of the first black flag liveries I did. Basically GT7, one of the first ever black flag liveries I did, and he loved it so much I had to give it to him. And Wiggy's had a massive problem because he is going slowly and he's back in 11th place. So he has had an off somewhere and that has sent him flying almost to the back as Cal 1 looking to try and find a way through. So it's a bit of an error-strewn race today here at Road Atlanta. And another mistake there from Wiggy. He's off in that GTR. And listen, mate, you can't park that there, mate. He is back on the track, finally back on the track. He's now over 2.5 seconds back. So off he goes. That's a couple of yellow flags now in a very short space of time. Cal 1 running in 11th place, Mr. Cool Runnings. You can see actually, apart from Kevin, who's really pulled apart out front, everyone's still really bunched up here. Cool Runnings up to 10th place. He is 1.1 second behind Old Man Jay, who's just scuffing up some of that grass on the left-hand side of the track there. Running pretty well, actually. 1:19.1 was his fastest lap. That was his last lap. If he can run around that kind of pace, do you know what? And stay consistent, it could be midfield joy for my friend Jay. Demos dropped out of that top 3 in the Beetle. He is now in 8th place. He's 1.9 up from Jay. He is 7/10 behind his countryman. And it is a Greek train in 6th, 7th and 8th place with Panos just 7/10 up, and then himself 7/10 behind Thanos, Panos and Demos. It sounds like it essentially sounds like the three racing gods of war. Thanos, Panos, and Demos are coming to get you. Avalon Shadow 1.7 seconds up the road. He is chasing down Sturpan, and the last person we saw in a battle with Sturpan, that was Wiggy, and he is now way off the pace. And it looks to me that most have gone for a start on the medium compound size. There is Sturpan. He's gone for that Mercedes AMG, and I love this car. I think Joe's on mediums, yeah. Yeah, everyone is running on medium tyres, bar Stormfly. Stormfly's gone for the soft compounds. And to be fair though, the soft compounds look to be holding up better than I expected. We're on lap 7, lap 7 just completed for Stormfly, and I'm looking at the wear, and other than, it's going to be a lot of wear on the left hand side. You would expect that because it's quite a few fast right handers here, so that's where the danger of the grip is. But they're holding out quite well on the soft compound tyres. We will need to run obviously the alternative compound. 1:17.5 qualifying pace in a race. That is pretty darn good, I say, if I do say so myself. PM10 Racing, he's on the medium tyres. He's back up into the front two. 1:18.3 his quickest lap. Why did Stormfly so Stormfly has done 1:17.5, but he did a 1:29.3 a couple of laps ago, which would have cost him lots and lots of time. 12 seconds is what it cost, because PM10 Racing is now 2.1 seconds clear of him. He is going to be closing down that gap again on PM10. His lap times are quicker, but PM10 is on the medium tyres. We know he's got some more pace in the bag, as our resident Stig. So we'll see what sort of pace he chucks out in the second portion of the race. So in terms of pit window, we're on lap 9 here at Road Atlanta, the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in the United States of America. Fuck yeah. And Kevin is in the lead. He's 8.1 seconds clear in the Corvette. This will see him crowned as champion. Gonna have a look at the midfield again in a second. Just want to run over what the pit window might be. So we're looking at lap 9. We're looking at fuel. I reckon those on the medium tyres can probably stretch this to lap 18, maybe even lap 19, which will take them to about the 25-minute mark. If they can stretch it out to the halfway point, which is basically 30 minutes. I'm not sure they can, because I think the halfway point you're looking essentially 16, probably lap 24 will be the halfway point. So, yeah, it'll be about 48 laps there or thereabouts, if my math is correct, Mundo, and it usually isn't. But there we go, Stormfly already closed up on PM10 Racing as they come round to complete lap 9, begin lap 10. There is Stormfly closing down on PM10 Racing. He's on the soft compound tyres, remember. He has got only a couple of laps left in it. So those on the soft compounds will have taken big chunks out of their tyres. And he's really taken, it's such a difficult racetrack to overtake. You're kind of relying on the car in front of you to make big cock-ups, because it's a very narrow, particularly this section through the S's here. It's narrow, it's twisty, it's tight. There is only one line through there. You go off that line and you're essentially off the racetrack altogether. And there's another penalty there for VR46 Stormfly. It's going to cost him more time, and he's going to be pushed back towards Sturpan. So that battle is over for the time being. There is Sturpan at the moment. This is the battle. We've got Sturpan running in 4th place. Avalon Shadow running in 4th place. Both on the... Sturpan in 4th, Avalon Shadow in 5th place. And that gap is 0.2 of a second. Can Avalon Shadow make this move? This is the view from Avalon Shadow's car. Where's he gone? There he is. They do touch. Go through. I said it was narrow. It's gonna be frenetic. It's gonna be fast. Sturpan's not going to just let him through. Absolutely not. But I tell you what, as Stormfly into the pits, that was probably the wise decision. He was stuck behind PM10. I couldn't find a way through, so it made sense to pit when he did. To go, he'll probably go into medium tyres and run. Excuse me, a little bit longer. So this is the battle for currently 3rd with Stormfly in the pits. We've got Avalon Shadow running in 4th, trying to chase down Sturpan, who's just putting the car in all the right places at the moment. And it is very laggy. No offense, Kevin, but I don't think you'll be hosting again, my friend. There is Demos. Demos is running in 5th place in that Beetle. He was running in the top 3 at one stage, but I don't know if the Beetle... I say this every single time he runs out. I don't know if the Beetle was going to work around here, and he makes it work. It's his go-to car. What can you say? When you find a car that suits your driving style, you stick with it. Excuse me. There is Thanos running in 6th place. Still that battle going on. We've got Thanos, Panos and Demos all still battling out, although Demos is winning out 3 seconds up the road from Thanos and Panos. Thanos running in the Corvette, of course. The Corvette C7. He's 7/10 up from this man here, Panos, who's in that beautiful looking. And I think of all the GR3 cars, this is the prettiest one. Apart from the Super Silhouette, I don't care what you say. A lot of people think it's a boxy looking monstrosity. I think it's fucking sexy. But this AMG Mercedes is not bad to look at either. Of course, it's made famous by being the safety car. The F1, obviously prior to Aston Martin monopolising themselves until that one. But Panos chasing down his countryman and his teammates. 1.2 seconds is the gap at the moment. Both of them seem to be playing a bit of a longer game now, not really pushing too hard. You've got to try and get the most out of those tyres and take it to, what do we think? We think it's 20-minute marks, so somewhere around, I think from lap 20 onwards is when we would expect to see the pit window open for the medium tyre runners. There or thereabouts, I think, looking at the current wear and tear. Then we go just 8/10 back, and Cool Running's involved in that fight as well. At one stage, he was 6 seconds adrift at the back of the pack, but he has found himself now running up in 8th place, and he's got very good pace actually. So whatever issue he had early on, although saying that, he is really struggling. He's on the medium tyres, but he's taking a lot out of his tyres and a lot out of his fuel. And he's going to be coming into the pits very early. A lot earlier than I expected for a lot of them. I'm looking, so Stormfly's been in, he's come back out on the medium tyres. Now, I think I'm a little bit wrong with the guesstimation. It looks to me the fuel in the second, do you know what? 2 more laps. So lap 15 is going to be pit window, I think. Just looking at the fuel just seems to have disappeared within minutes. So I think lap 15 for the majority, was lap 13 there for Cool Runnings. So yeah, lap 13, 14, 15, maybe lap 16 for the the extra fuel hoggers. So Cool Runnings will come out of the pits. He's again on those medium compound tyres. He's going for another long stint on those. Now, it's very, very abrasive, this track. And it seems to have been very abusive on the fuel as well. Short lap, though. Yeah, I think it's a short lap, and you are pretty much flat. And, you know, I was asked to describe Road Atlanta, and I think the best way to describe it is if Goodwood and Brands Hatch fell in love and loved each other very much and had special cuddles, they would and then went on holiday to the United States, of course. They would birth this racetrack. It's got that kind of small, intimate feel of Brands Hatch, with the kind of narrow straights and turns and twists and all that kind of thing. But that kind of sweeping, quick, frenetic pace, fast turns of Goodwood. So, yeah, kind of a mixture of the two would be the best way to describe it. Avalon Shadow now in the lead of this race. Everybody else has gone in, including Kevin, who went in earlier, I thought. And he's picked up that dreaded 3-second pit lane penalty. That is brutal everywhere you get it. But on a racetrack where it is 1 minute 20 a lap when you're going slowly, you've got to say that's a bit of a blow. And that 1.2 seconds he's behind Wiggy will evaporate now. PM10 Racing, he has been in so maybe that's the case. To be fair, I probably should do some level of testing before the race, but I haven't got the time. I spent a lot of time with the family over Christmas, which is always good to do. I was quite anxious to find out my Mrs. stopped working at all. So. Avalon Shadow running in first place where he was until he came into the pits. Kevin side by side with Wiggy does make the move on Wiggy back up into the lead of this race. So Wiggy, by virtue of staying out just so much longer, is up into second at the moment. He will be pitting this time out. And I think he'll actually be the last one in. So he really stretched it out to lap 15. And how well is it going to work out for him? Now, the thing is, I think fuel ran out before the tyres did for him. How long can he take the soft compound tyres? And what amount of fuel can you put on board to make sure that the soft compounds and the fuel match up perfectly for that stint? Because they would at some stage have to run another compound of tyres. Of course, they could opt to run the hard compound tyres, but as the hards will outlast the fuel, you wouldn't really want to waste your time using them, would you? Don't think so. But he'll come into the pits at the end of this lap. PM10 Racing, there he is. He is running in third. Yeah, thanks, Nick. So basically, it's the... Yeah, I mean, I know it's quite a abrasive track. Obviously, I did the broadcast for the All-Stars, which is around here, which is a really cool way. Check it out, actually. It's really cool. Really, really cool race. But absolutely brutal, you're right. Brutal on the tyre wear. And we have got quite high tyre wear as well, particularly for a 1 hour endurance race. But there we've got PM10. He's back up into second place. 5 seconds is the gap. They're both on mediums, Kevin and PM10. So going for another long stint. So what are we looking? Lap 26 is when we expect to see these guys coming back in. There or thereabouts. 26, 27 for the next pit stop. That essentially breaks the race up into a I think it's a two-stopper. But it's only a two-stopper if you can make the softs last, as long as you can make the fuel last. I think that's going to be the big kicker. Is if Nick is saying that at 40 to 50%, those tyres are in trouble, then actually it might end up being a three-stopper with a bit of a splash and dash towards the end. We all have a splash and dash, don't we? Get back to the bar nice and quickly. Stormfly running in third place. 3.3 seconds is the gap to PM10 Racing. He started on the soft compound tyres, bit very, very early. Lap 9, lap 10 I think he pit. So that's the kind of distance we expect on the soft tyres. It may well be that this is a three-stop race. Avalon Shadow is running 10 seconds back from Stormfly, up into 4th place. So we know that in order to guarantee a top 3, his first job is to leapfrog PM10 Racing, because PM10 Racing currently is a few points clear, 6 points clear, I think, in 2nd place in the championship. Yeah, we'll just get. He was briefly, but Cool Runnings is there now by the looks of it. But yeah, so that's his job. So his target is currently running in 2nd. What he'll want to do is, if he can't beat him, he'll want to minimise the point loss between the two of them. At the moment, comfortably top 4. They're comfortably top 4. Let's have a look at this battle for 8th and 9th, because it looks like it's going off. There is Cool Runnings. He is just ahead of Old Man Jay. There's a 2nd difference in the time between these two. Cool Runnings, as we know, had a really, really poor start. Whether he was clonked or what happened, but found himself 6 seconds adrift at the back of the pack. Has worked his way back through. Did have to really put the hammer down though, and put some big pace in. But he's now ahead of Old Man Jay, running in 8th place. 4.5 seconds behind Panos, Thanos, and Sturpan. These Greek guys are really sticking together at the moment. Where is Demos? Demos dropping further back. He's behind Wiggy now. Wiggy is 5.2 seconds off Old Man Jay. He went out very quick, very long, shall I say, into this race. Demos now, who's out of the pits, and he's on the, and everybody other than Cal 1 is on the medium compound tyre. But Demos running in 11th place. So did he have a problem? I'm looking at his lap times here, and it looks to me he went in at lap 13, and he did a 1:22.2 on his in lap. His out lap was a 1:57.0, which is 1:57.0. But his following that was a 1:38.6. So that looks to me where it cost him the big time. Yeah, because the out lap is around the 1:57 mark. If you look up and down the list, it was 2 minutes for Cal 1. Yeah, it's about the 1:57 mark. So Wiggy with a 1 second penalty. As soon as they get to this penalty line, which they're coming up to now, we will see Wiggy almost slow to a halt, and Demos just absolutely blast past him. And here it is. You can see it up ahead. It's those little yellow markers. Wiggy will slow, and there he does. He slows down. Through goes Demos. How big a loss is that going to be? Let's wait and see. Once we get out of this braking zone, we'll know exactly how much time that has cost Wiggy. So 1.5 seconds, 1.4 seconds. Yeah, well, so nearly 2 seconds. So 1 second penalty costs at least double that. Yeah, lap 14 looks to have been a bit. Well, lap 14 was mainly out lap for most, which is why it's a 1:57. If we look down, it's 1:57, 1:54. Oh, yeah, that was quick for Old Man Jay, actually. He didn't put a huge amount of fuel on board, to be fair, which is why he had quite a quick out lap. Yeah, but he's running in 11th place now, behind Wiggy, so he's clearly had a problem this lap, because at one stage he was battling with Cool Runnings. So crashed there, I think, for my friend Old Man Jay. Cal 1 running at about 6.6 seconds, and yeah, it's really daunting when you're new to a racing, because you're coming in, you don't know what the standard of racing is, and let's be fair, the standard of racing here is relatively good, I would say. You don't have to have the P on it to work it out, mate. Mine don't have the P on it either, but you can look and see, okay, they were doing standard 21-22s or 21-22s. Then you've got the 23. The in lap it doesn't really have a bearing on the time too much. So the big number will be the out lap afterwards, because you cross the start finish line before the pit starts. Yeah. There we go. So I just needed that drink. You come into a new race team, you're a bit of a struggle. You have to make sure you've got the right people friended. Then you get into your car and you start racing. You don't know the people around you. I don't know if they managed to get him into chat before the race started either. So it can be a bit daunting, and hopefully we can make this a much easier place to come and race, of course. And you know, we've had some new people in. Stonecutter has started to get established, and I hope your fatherly duties today don't take you away from racing for too long. And you enjoyed yourself yesterday. Yesterday was a great fun format. Essentially, what we did yesterday is we picked 6 racetracks, and we did a reverse championship kind of sprint race thing over those 6 racetracks. It was essentially just fast frenetic. Fast frenetic 10-minute sprint races on some short tracks, some long tracks. 6 different, a couple of Group 3s, a couple of Group 4s, Group B, Group 2, just to mix it up a little bit. It was really, really good fun. It was won in the end by Avalon. Great performance from him yesterday. But yeah, no, it was interesting formats. I think we'll definitely do it again, and something we're going to do for the end of year awards. We'll hand out some awards in between each race, of course. I'm really worried about going to lose my voice. So there is your leader. He's 4 seconds clear of PM10 Racing. Lap times very similar though. The mid-18s, consistent mid-18s for Kevin. Consistent mid-18s with a couple of low 118s in there for PM10. And top 2 really dominating at the moment. Stormfly is currently running in 3rd place. He is into the pits again. Is he going to bin those medium tyres for some softs? That's the question. 22 seconds is the gap to Sturpan, or it was. Sturpan comes round. Oh, really laggy from Sturpan. Sturpan comes round in that AMG. He takes 4th place. Stormfly just coming out of the pits now. But Panos is through. Thanos is through. What about Demos? Will Demos make it through? I don't think so. I don't know, actually. So he's getting on the power now. Where is Demos? I think we're going to look to the left and see Demos is not far behind. Oh, yeah, he's further back than I thought he was. I thought he was on a much closer part of the racetrack. Clearly not. Demos is like 3 seconds back, so he did get out ahead of him. Cool Running's running in 9th place. Wiggy is just 6 tenths behind him. And then it's 23 seconds back to Alban J, who he must have had an awful lot. He's got P next to it, but that wasn't a pit lap, that 1:35.9. It was just awful. Then he had 26.0, 24.0, and getting back now to his race pace of low 120s. But that's brought Cal 1 right back into this, because he's been pretty consistent actually in terms of his lap times. And he's burning through those soft compound tyres, so he'll be coming in a lap or 2. We're here at the halfway mark, and just in the distance, that's who we can see. That is Kevin 77 coming up to a lapper car for the first time here at Road Atlanta. With a racetrack this short, it's inevitable it's going to happen sooner or later. Particularly, it's only 1 minute 20 a lap. So don't be surprised that 30 minutes in, just 22 laps in, 23 by the time he catches him, that people are being lapped. And this is where you've got to be careful, right? And we've talked extensively about how we police blue flags, and I've always been of the thought that it's a bit of fucking common sense, man. We don't need to put in like loads of hard and fast rules. You must drive off the racetrack and compromise your race just because the car behind you is faster. It should be on both sides. For me, if you are leading a race, and invariably it's the same sort of people that are kind of in the top 3, because they're the quickest drivers. It's just a fact of nature. And so they are the more experienced drivers, whereas the ones at the back, not necessarily so much. So you do have to consider, and I think we've seen Cal1 Jar into the pits, so you have to consider that you have a much better understanding of how the car works and bits and pieces like that. And you can see the car ahead, so you can kind of plan where you think the best place to make that overtake will be. Now, I'm not suggesting that the car in front should be hogging the racing line, but I think that you should be looking at the, okay, well, I know that I'm going to reach, I'm closing them at this kind of rate, so I should reach them by this point of the racetrack. There is this straight there. and that's what you do it. So you know, if you lose a couple of tenths, just trying to find the right place, so you don't compromise their race too. I think that's the best and most sensible way around it. Now, I'm not suggesting for a minute that if you are, a little wobble there from Kevin actually as he goes into the pits for the second time. Now, you know, I'm not suggesting that if you are hogging the road when you don't need to, that you shouldn't be punished. Of course, if there's a car behind, you do have to, you know, get off that racing line when it's the safest for you to do so. We realise that you're also in a race. But, you know, when you come out of get yourself out of a corner first, get yourself straightened out, and just, you know, pause before you go flat. And that will give the person behind enough impetus on the racing line to make the overtake on the straight. Simple as pie, really. Some racetracks easier than others, of course, because some have got longer straights than others, but that's the way to do it. In the immortal words of, I think it was Orville the Duck. Who knows? But there you go. There is your current leader. He is PM10 Racing. He's in the Porsche 911 RSR. The Black Flag Racing TV liveried Porsche 911. 30 seconds he currently leads from Kevin. Kevin's pitted a little bit earlier. Now, in terms of fuel, Kevin's put on, he hasn't fueled to the maximum. Yeah, no, you do. It doesn't matter what track you're on, Nick. You know, whatever track you're on, there are opportunities to overtake that boundary lines, and you just need to use those. Whether you're overtaking for track position or for to get past lap cars. So there is PM10 Racing. He's in the pits now. Here comes Kevin. He hasn't put on a full tank of fuel. He's found the balance between the right amount of fuel and the tyre wear. He should regain the lead of this race as he comes round here at Road Atlanta. And it is an incredibly long pit exit at Road Atlanta. It feels like an age. It's kind of the opposite to Laguna Seca, where you come into the pits right there, but it takes like 30 seconds for your car to arrive to a pit box you can actually see when you drive in. So where are we? 2 seconds he now leads this race from Sturpan. Sturpan's going to go probably to lap 30, 32 before he pits. PM10 Racing 1.1 seconds back. He has been in the pits. The gap to Kevin is 3.7 seconds. He put a little bit. He's gone for the racing soft. Now, he managed to get in and out without putting intermediate tyres on. And for that, he should be absolutely applauded. So, no Plonker of the Year award for PM10 today. I do want to point out that for a quick driver, he has 2 of the 3 nominations for the biggest fuck-ups this year, to be fair. But I suppose when you are a quick driver, you are more prone to cock-ups. I'm quite surprised the way the voting's gone on that, because for me, my favourite moment is one of the ones that I nominate, which is Patrick and his big flops at the Nürburgring, where he... in fact, you know what, I'm going to find all 3 videos, and I'm going to put them in a single montage with one or two other key moments from the season. So, Cool Runnings going into the pits. He's back out of the pits, but that's a 3-second pit lane penalty. He's 4.3 seconds of Old Man J. Old Man J will be coming in, if not this lap, certainly the lap afterwards. I think he'll probably come in this lap because it's looking that those rear tyres are a bit ropey and the fuel a bit low. And the dints all over the paintwork on that. Oh, absolutely disgusting. Get that buffed out. Thanos into the pits as well. So Cal won. Just being lapped there by Demos. Demos with a 1.5 second penalty to serve, which is a horrible penalty to have. It really is. But Kevin leads his race 4.8 seconds from his countryman Sturpan in the AMG. Sturpan will be pitting lap 29, lap 30-ish, there and thereabouts. PM10 Racing will then go through. Now, this is where we'll see what sort of pace. At the moment, still, the fastest man on the track is this man here, Stormfly, running in 6th place with a 1:17.5, and that was ages ago. We haven't seen anything like that since lap 18 from him. Kevin hasn't gone sub 118 yet in this race. That's not because he can't. I tell you now, he absolutely can. It's because he is conserving tyres, conserving fuel. You don't need to rip all the rubber off and burn every single petrol molecule in your engine over a couple of laps. You can, when you've got the pace that these guys out front have, you can afford to just lift and coast and be smooth through the corners and not overdrive and not push the car too hard, and just give yourself an extra couple of laps before you have to go in and pit. So he's been in twice. I said lap 26 is about right, and that's exactly when he went in. Bang on lap 26, or was it 25? Lap 24 he went in, came out lap 25. 6.2 seconds, his current lead of this race on the medium compound tyres. One more stop required for the man who will be crowned champion at the end of the race today. PM10 Racing YouTube. And do check his channel out, actually, it's pretty cool. He's really cool challenges and glitchy things. He's really good at like the little short videos to keep people engaged very quickly. I'm not good at all that rubbish. 14 seconds clear of Wiggy up into third place. Wiggy is slightly out of the pit stop cycle from everybody else. So he will be coming in similar to Sturpan. I said Sturpan, I said lap 28, 29, he went in a little bit earlier. I think Wiggy will hang it out there for 2 more laps, I'm going to say. He'll come in at lap 31. We will see Wiggy in the pits in that GTR. That will release Stormfly off up the road. It's 21 seconds the gap between him and the current championship leader, Kevin, 77, and the current race leader, of course. He is running in 4th place, currently 3 tenths behind Wiggy. Will he be able to make the move beforehand and be released like an uncaged beast? Uncaged. Uncaged isn't really a word, is it? It's not really, is it? Sturpan, so named because he owns a wooden spoon. And that may or may not be true, but I'm sticking to it. He is 17 seconds back from that battle currently between Stormfly and Wiggy, and he's got Avalon Shadow crawling behind him. It is German car for German car battling it out here. We've got Porsche, the Porsche 911 and that Mercedes AMG. Now, if we look at lap times for Avalon, he is lapping in and around the 120s, a couple of bad laps actually. 118, low 118s to low 119s when it's not going too well. And then we've got Sturpan with, he's actually just done his fastest lap of the race, 118.4. Can he keep Avalon Shadow Bay? He's on the soft compound tyres now, so he's going to be going relatively quickly. How quickly is the question? Too laggy for me. Too laggy. Can't watch him. I will. I would say you can't catch epilepsy. That's fucking ridiculous. Make you feel groggy. Let's say. Then we go 13 seconds back from that battle. We go to Thanos, who's just opened up a bit of a gap on his compatriots. 1.9 back to Demos in the Beetle, and I think this time I might be getting proved right about the efficacy or non-efficacy of this Volkswagen Beetle in this GR3 class. Panos is 4.3 seconds back. He's in the AMG as well, sporting Lewis Hamilton's colours, so I clearly don't wish that car would catch flames in a wall at all. 13.6 seconds back is Paul Running. I tell you what, he's the midfield driver that I was saying earlier, you generally find him around the midfield. He had an issue early on, which is probably the reason why he's not a bit further up the racetrack. But I mean, look at the consistency in times. Flicking between a 119.9 to a 120.6, 120.7, and that's pretty much the last 8 or 9, 10 laps for him. So he is very consistent. Now the problem we've got here, and we see this quite a lot with Cool Runnings, is he's in this kind of no man's land. Is that the cars ahead are a little bit quicker, and the cars behind just that little bit slower, and it ends up with him just essentially time trialing it around the racetrack and having nobody to race with, which must be so frustrating. I know as someone who drives around at the back, when it's just you and nobody else on the racetrack is quite so slow. It can be soul destroying at times. Mind-numbing is another word that comes to it. But when you're in space like this, it does one of two things to you. Now, either you kind of embrace the gap on the racetrack to allow you just to take the lines you want, drive the way you want, and you're not kind of dictated by the cars around you into how you approach that particular stint. It is. I mean, you can tell which tracks he's good at, which ones he doesn't know too well. Just say Bathurst would be absolutely. Well, to be fair, the last time we had a race, last time we had a race in GTS at Bathurst, he was pierced to eat chicken wings and finished last. We won't talk about that though. So as I say, you've got the two kind of things that happen to you in the kind of scenario. So you've got, as Corey is now, he looks to me, he's putting in those nice consistent lines and doing what he's doing. You can get in a sort of complacency where you kind of get a bit bored and there's nothing really going on. And it's then that mistakes happen, because it's then what if I push a little bit? What if I try this here or try that there? And then things can go horribly wrong. Cal 1, he's going to need to pit soon. Those tyres are ropey. It is really hard to focus. Cal 1 is not in last place, but he does have to pit. He's 36 seconds behind Cool Runnings, who kisses his lucky end, get out of the field. Cal 1 going for another lap on those tyres, and they are looking ropey as hell. Can he maintain enough grip this lap before he has to go in? He's on the soft at the moment. But there we go. So 7 seconds back, he's on man J, but he has just come out because he's on fresh rubbery mediums, and he's back up to his standard kind of tyre pace, just off it. So he will regain 11th place, I think. We'll see. Excuse me. Gap for the race leader has come down a little bit. PM10 Racing on those soft tyres put in a 1:17.3. Close the gap down to around 2 seconds now to Kevin 77. I think at the moment, I think we can say with some authority that the race for the championship is over, and that Kevin 77, look, he can still get disconnected, someone could cut the entire electricity off and grease and go. But it's going to take, for want of a better expression, an act of God to change anything for him at this stage. Anyone that knows that someone would suggest that God has any involvement in anything. For the want of a better way, it will take an act of God to change things at this stage. But PM10 Racing is certainly giving as good as he can get, running 1.2 seconds back from Kevin and closing fast. Now he will obviously have to pit relatively soon, but he's been on these soft compound tyres, but we've only got 15 minutes left of this race. We're on lap 34, so essentially we're looking at about another 12 laps or so. Can he make those? If those soft tyres can last 12 laps, then he can go back on the softs and run the last kind of few laps like that. We'll see that. So we are starting to see all of the final pit stops across the board. Cal 1 with a 3-second dreaded penalty that just makes you want to headbutt the steering wheel in frustration, which is why I love leaving it on. I think it's a cruel penalty, but I think it's a necessary one, because you can see the big fucking line there. They don't drive over. Although I will say, which racetrack is it? I'm sure it's Barcelona. It's either Barcelona or I think it's Barcelona. The car automatically pulls to the left coming out of the pits when it gives you control of the car. So it's very easy on some tracks to pick up that penalty. So PD maybe need to fix that. Right, so Cal 1 is running in 12th place. He's 34 seconds behind Jay. He's running to the end of this race. I think he's overfueled a little bit to the end of this race, those medium tyres, but it is what it is. Old Man Jay, 46 seconds is the gap behind Cool Runnings. He has certainly enough fuel to go to the end. Nice and light he's going to be when he gets there as well. And there is potential. Any mistakes up ahead and things can go wrong. PM10 Racing into the pits. It is on most tracks you need to kind of steer as you're coming out. Spa 24-hour track is a freaking nightmare. You're better off losing a little bit of time just to make sure, I think. Cool Runnings just being lapped by the Greek Magnus himself, Kevin 77, who is actually going off on holiday for a couple of weeks. So if you want to get some races in where you might win, well, he won't win because he won't be there, then get involved in races for the next couple of weeks up until the sort of 14th, 15th, I think it's 14th of January when he's back, 15th of January when he's back. So between now and the 15th of January is your chance to get in the top 3 while Kevin is not around. Get yourself signed up and get racing, boys and girls. Mr. Cool Runnings, he is 8.7 seconds behind Avalon, 46 ahead of Old Man Jay. Bit touch and go on the fuel though. I think it's going to be close. He might have to fuel map the last few laps. We will see what we will see. Thanos just coming in for his final pit stop. He had enough fuel, but tyres a little bit dodge. We knew Kevin had to pit again, so it's going to be a close run thing between the pair of them. So Thanos out of the pit. So where is PM10 in relation? 35 seconds is the gap. Kevin is just pulling out of the pits now. So I don't know how close he is. Where is PM10? So here comes PM10. There is the pit entrance. Pit exit is some way down here. Where's Kevin? Kevin agonisingly slow around that corner. Look how quickly PM10's going to come charging. There is Kevin just up ahead. It is on like Donkey Kong. Kevin in the lead of this race. He's on the soft compound tyres. He will be, how far ahead is he? 1.8 seconds. So he's going to try and keep Paul at bay. All he's got to do is go super quick. And the fastest lap of the race at the moment goes to Stormfly BfeR 46. He's back in 5th place, but he's chucking in some super quick laps. Super duper. 2 seconds that Kevin leads PM10 Racing, but it is now on. PM10 Racing went into the pits chasing down Kevin like he's done so many times in this competition before. This time he doesn't put on the intermediate tyres, doesn't crash and then have to go back in the pits. This time he's actually involved in the racing. But don't count out this man here. Also, don't count him out. You can, because he's got a pit. His fuel, his tyres, awful. He's going to come in the end of this lap. Now that is going to bring Demos, when he goes into the pits, Stormfly back into the top 3. He's already up into 4th class. Demos will be putting off into the pits soon. Sturpan into the pits. Wiggy is running to the end of this race. Is there a little twist in the tail for Wiggy here? He dropped down the order like a stone quite early on, but has been quietly kind of chipping away in the low to mid 118s, and already now finds himself up into 4th place. What about Avalon? Does Avalon nick a couple of places here? 17 seconds was the gap to Demos. He crosses that start finish line. Demos coming out. I don't think he's going to get ahead of Avalon. He doesn't. Avalon is behind Sturpan. Sturpan with a 3-second penalty though. That is going to cost him big time, and that's going to be enough for Avalon Shadow to nick a place there, I think. Cool Runnings, is he through? Where is Cool Runnings? Cool Runnings comes round the bend here, and up ahead of him, there's Demos. So he's going to close him down. Now there's some colour battles going on. So these are the racetrack battles going on in this final little stint of the race. It is Kevin 77 being hunted down, hunted by the indubitable PM10 Racing. Then we've got Stormfly 16 seconds back. He is going to secure himself 3rd place. and but I think it's going to be very, very big task for him to close down on that top two. Wiggy behind him, as Wiggy going to have the pace. He certainly might do, but I can't see him catching him at this stage. So there is Wiggy, comes round to complete lap 39. 39, and Avalon already passed Sturpan. He's 11 seconds back from Wiggy. How much did it cost Sturpan? Well, Sturpan was 3.8 seconds clear when they came out of the pits. He is now 2.1 seconds back. So that 3-second pit lane penalty had a total cost of 5 seconds of time. So Avalon lapping in the high 117s on these soft compound tyres here at the Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Based in, of course, Atlanta, Georgia. Where else would you find Road Atlanta? Or am I going to be corrected by somebody who tells me it's kind of like that Leeds Castle thing, where Leeds Castle isn't actually in Leeds, it's in Kent. Yeah, I hope that's not the case. But I'm assuming Road Atlanta is in Atlanta, Georgia. I wouldn't imagine it being anywhere else. But Sturpan, he's already closing that gap. He's closing it down to 1.6 seconds. So that is also on like Donkey Kong. Demos, not been the strongest of cars here in the United States of America. He's 10 seconds back from that battle between Avalon and Sturpan. He's, however, 8 seconds clear of his teammate Thanos in the other Corvette. And it just goes to show the contrast, the difference between one and the other. Kevin's also in the Corvette and he's way out in the lead. Now, Cool Runnings has a half-second penalty. He's not going to be able to catch Thanos listed that, but maybe next, as Cal 1 is unlapping himself. And something you're perfectly entitled to do if you're going quickly. There is no rule about not unlapping yourself. So Panos down to 10th place. Old Man Jay is 1 minute back in 11th place, but 13 seconds clear of, and a big spin there from Jay. How much time is that going to cost him? He's off on the grass as Demos comes through. He does get back on. And listen, Jay, you can't park that there, mate. He's still 13 seconds clear of Cal 1, though. And apparently washing machines live longer with Cal 1. It's probably only the people from the UK that will have a clue what I just did then. But we'll see. So Kevin, there he is, 2.6 seconds. So the gap isn't closing. He's put in a 1:16.7. So he has seen exactly what Stormfly's got to offer in terms of pace. He's seen what PM10's got to offer in terms of pace, and he has gone, nope, I'm going faster. And a 1:16.7 is qualifying pace in the race. What a lap that was. PM10 Racing, best lap for him was lap 39, a 1:17.1. 2.7 seconds is the gap to Kevin. Is he going to close? I think it's going to take an accident or a disconnection at this stage for Kevin not to win here at Road Atlanta. Stormfly, absolute shoe-in for third place. He's under no pressure from Wiggy from behind. The gap back is 12 seconds. Gap ahead is 17 seconds. So equally, he's not putting any pressure on PM10 Racing. He does have a lovely bit of juicy slipstream from the Jamaican, soon to be a neighbour. I say a neighbour. He's not going to live in the house next door to me, but he's not moving too far away from me in the UK, and I will be heading straight to his place of business when he gets here to eat up the yummy food when he moves to the UK later, or at the beginning of 2023. That's of course his Cool Runnings we're talking about, not Stormfly. Stormfly's not coming to the UK. We don't want to be. I'm only joking. Wiggy running in 4th place in the GTR, just coming off the grass there. Didn't look like he was going to get anywhere today, but slow and steady wins the race sometimes. And he's not been slow, he's just been steady. And he's been in there, he's been putting the laps in, although 1:19.3 in that last lap. A little bit ropey. He's only got to hold out a couple. His tyres aren't looking great, but he's only got a couple of laps to hold out now. Maybe 3 or 4 laps to hold out. Avalon Shadow 11 seconds back, and that's Sturpan facing the wrong way. Mr. Sturpan, my friend, you cannot park that car there. So he is now under pressure from his countryman Demos. He's off the track again. So Demos goes through, and that has cost Sturpan loads and loads of time. Did he lag himself off the track? That's the question. I will indeed do that for you, Nick, and I will share it. Thanos running in 8th position. Not able to capitalise on the spin from Sturpan. He's a little bit too far back to get any benefit from that. 10 and a bit seconds back from Sturpan, who wasn't stirring the pan, but he was stirring his car. Round and round he went. 3.2 seconds is the gap from Thanos to Panos. And that AMG is facing in the right direction, but it's facing the right direction 2 places further back than his countryman is in the equivalent car. 28 and a half seconds back to Mystical Runnings, who had an awful lap last lap. And that's because he had to pit. He couldn't make it to the end, just under fueled. And it's just come out and done a 1:18.0. 28 seconds is the gap. It's not going to be enough time to make up that space, unfortunately. So for him, back down the office in terms of pit strategy. And it's not the first time his pit strategy has cost him places. I see your Road Atlanta, and I raise you Tokyo. Old Man J running in 11th place, 44 seconds back. That will be where he shall stay, I believe. And Cal 1, can't pilot there, mate. Congratulations, Cal 1, on your first race with us, and still going faster than me. Yet to find somebody that is slower than me that can run the race on a regular basis. So there you go, there's your 12 runners and riders. And Kevin's opened up that gap at 3.5 seconds. Fastest lap of 1 at 16.7. We're on lap 44 at the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. This is the BfeR Open GR3. And the penultimate round. We have 1 round left in this tournament. And that will take us to, we'll stay in the United States for the Glen, Watkins Glen. And that will be on the 4th of January. 4th of January, which is next Wednesday. Then we'll have a little break. We'll have a little qualifying session for to sort the groups out for season 2 of GR3. So there we go. That is lap 44 completed. Lap 45 is on. Oh, he's at lap 45 complete. He's on lap 45 now, actually. 2.1 seconds is the gap now. Tyres looking a little bit worn. Fuel a little bit low. PM10 has really closed that gap. It's closing to 1.7 seconds. And it's closing still. And you're right, Kevin shouldn't be taking risks, but there's a yellow flag, so who knows? Now that's 1.4 seconds. PM10 Racing can see his prey right there in front of him, looking for a way through. Now, can Kevin regain his complete? Has he got enough to go? Is Kevin going to run out of fuel? This is the final lap of the race. We are at the finishing point now. Kevin just has to hold out. Has he got enough fuel? Avalon comes home in 5th. Demos comes home in 6th position. Let's screenshot that top 8 just in case I need it. There we go. It is screenshotted. But this is the battle. We are questioning whether Kevin has got enough fuel to take him to the end, because if he runs out at any stage now, it's over. And here we go. PM10 Racing takes the lead on the very last corner here at Road Atlanta. And it is not a win for Kevin as he runs out of fuel on the last lap here. He does come home in 2nd. Stormfly too far back to capitalise. But what a finish that was. We saw the time tumbling. And there we go. So Kevin was holding back in those last couple of laps because he didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end. And loses 1st place right at the death. Wiggy will come home in 4th. Great race from him, actually. He's also run out of fuel, but is saved by the fact that Avalon has finished a lap earlier. I can't say any better than Nick just has in the chat with a what the fuck. Never expected that day. What a finish that was. What a finish. And if anything ever makes up for putting on intermediate tyres when you should be on softs, it is that. So there is your final running order. PM10 Racing from Kevin77 from Stormfly, Wiggy, Avalon Shadow, Demos, Sturpan, Thanos, Panos, Mystical Runnings, Old Man J, and the new guy, Cal1. And great racing from all. I can, if I can update this race now, can't I? Let's do it. So we've got the league table ready. So who did win this race? It was PM10 Racing won this race from Kevin77, who ran out of fuel just coming up to the end of the race. Stormfly comes home in third. Kind of issues for him, but he did finally get there. And of course, Wiki comes home in fourth place. Then in fifth was Avalon Shadow, who tries to close on PM10, but to tell you what, that's going to make it difficult. Demos is in sixth place. That's exactly where it is. Sturpan comes home in seventh. Then we've got Thanos in eighth, Panos in ninth. Thanos and Panos, how about that? Eighth and ninth place for them. Then we've got Cool Runnings in 10th place. J49, Old Man J, of course, finishes in 11th place. And then at the back of the pack is Cal1. And the fastest lap goes to Kevin, which was a 1:16, which isn't bad at all. 1:16.750. I've got to do the colons in the right place. 1:16.750. Driving a race day for me, I'm giving 2 PM10 purely because, because he stuck at it. So there we go. Great racing, all finished, done and dusted there. Replay is saved. Race results updated. I will post them up on the Discord in a bit. But there we go. So how about that then? That was, it was mistakes. That's the biggest problem for me, is that, you can have all the pace in the world to burn, but if you're not consistent, it makes no blood bit of difference at all. We say that all the time. I'm guilty of it myself. I haven't got the pace of the guys out front. I never have done. Never will do, which is why I talk shit about them instead. I just character assassinate them and tell them they're shit. And call them lesbians mainly. That's it's because I don't have the consistency. The consistency sometimes can make a massive difference. And it's bang on. You had awesome pace, absolutely awesome pace. But a couple of mistakes and it all went horribly wrong. And obviously you got you had a little love tap from Panos as well. I do notice the couple of Greek guys were very laggy today. But we'll solve that problem next time out. So there we go. That's race number 9 done at the Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. We stay in the United States next week. We go to the Glen Watkins Glen, which is near New York, I believe. Looking forward to that one. That will be the final race for season 1 of the Open GR3. I mean, technically it's season 2 of GR3, but the last one was just a European only one, where we discovered that Mazda is European, courtesy of G to the Mac. But thank you very much for joining me. We've got the end of year awards coming up. It will either be on the 30th or it will be on the 1st of January. I will let you know in the next 12 hours, I think. And then Monday we've got the GR4 lottery returns. For great love the GR4 lottery. It's one of my favourites. But thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've had a interesting couple of hours with us this evening, and we will see you next for the end of year awards. Thank you very much.